All right, guys. Today's video is in regards to transmission pan gasket, replacing it, and making sure you have a non-leak seal around the transmission in the pan, and that's what we're gonna do today. So, we're gonna clean this up. We're gonna change the transmission gasket. I'll put the link in the description box to this particular transmission pan. I got the factory one still, but this one is nice because you can change the fluid without ever removing this pan again. So we want to secure this somewhat permanently. Also, the pan comes with these bolts. They're 1/4-inch Allen bolts. So we use this to tighten them down. I think it's about 11 pounds of torque. I have that exact spec shortly. Also, we're going to change the filter. Here's the filter. The filter that's on there looks pretty good, but it's been up there since the car was made. It's a C4 transmission. So here's the gasket you want to get. It sells it. You can buy this on Amazon actually to get it quick. Amazon sells these now. And here's the part number. It's very cheap, less than 20 bucks. I'll flash it across the screen right now. But that's the part you want to get. And also, if you don't have some of this, I'll keep this stuff on standby. This stuff is super thick. I've used it on the Nova, Express van, quite a few things, and it stops the leaks. Whenever I catch a leak, I'm using this stuff. So once you clean the surface on the pan itself, have a good maiden surface, clean pan. I'm gonna clean this really good and clean the surface of the transmission. You're gonna have a leak-free seal using that stuff. Just a thin coat on back on the pan itself and on the top of the gasket, and we should be all good. So let me clean this off. I'll use my angle dye with some fine grit or some fine grit sandpaper to just clean that surface off real good without stripping material away from it. And then it's pretty clean up there already. I've already used these two to get the transmission clean. So let me get some light under here. Let's swap this out real quick. Let's do a good job. Let's install this gasket. Got some powerful degreaser here. Spray in here. Okay, I'm using some 1000 grit. Try to just go with a fine grit. Getting that smooth and clean. Okay, using this 5/16 magnetic bit to remove the filter. So the one in the corner is 3/8 inch. That's 3/8 inch. Wow, I got some torque on this thing. Okay guys, I want to note something that happened as I was removing the filter down. So here's the bolts, guys. They're all the same size with the exception of that one that goes here. The larger bolt, the 3/8 inch bolt. Also, I don't know if you guys seen in slow motion. Well, this don't go to this. This goes to the pan. This piece and this spring fell out. It's like some kind of dowel, but it fell out. And see this tab here? Like, you can see it rested on top of here, but this goes inside the spring like so, and it sits like this. I'll show you guys exactly how I push in it, but it rests on this tab. So let's get the new filter out and we're gonna install that. But let me show you guys kind of a breakdown of the C4 transmission. And it shows you all the vehicles for the C3 and C4, which vehicles came with the C3 and C4 transmission, engine type, this book goes up to 77. Kind of breaks down the transmission. It shows you if you're having issues as well. So it also shows you ways to do it. And if you look at the Mustang 2 book itself, this book specifically for Mustang 2, it just shows you maintenance and how to remove the transmission, but it doesn't give specifics as far as the filter. But it does shows you when you refill it, what you're gonna need with different engines. Like the 302 takes 5 quarts of oil, quarts. And as in the transmission, it's measured in pints here, 4-speed and automatic. It shows you how many quarts they how many pints they take. So the 302, which is in here, takes 5 quarts of oil, 15 pints of automatic transmission fluid, or that's 7.5 quarts. So 15 pints is 7.5 quarts. That's what we're gonna need to fill the transmission back up in here. So remember, 15 pints equals 7.5 quarts of transmission fluid, and also tells you how to do it in steps. Both books tells you to add type F, ATF type F fluid, and it's telling you how to do it. Both books. I'll show you guys how we're gonna go back up with that. Here's the new filter. There's that tab. And let me show you guys how that spring rests off up there. So here's the filters, side-by-side comparison. Old filter, new filter. pan. Highly recommend getting this pan. So once we go up and once secure it, as the bolt for has a nylon washer on it. I'll put the link in the description box for this pan. Highly recommend getting this so you can drain the fluid more frequently in the transmission. They say 60,000 miles for the fluid maintenance in this vehicle. For the C4 transmission, every 60,000 miles, they recommend changing the transmission fluid. Unless under heavy duration or heavy use, they recommend changing the transmission fluid every 15,000 miles. So a significant difference if this was a heavy use vehicle, every 15,000 miles for transmission fluid change. A non-heavy use vehicle, every 60,000 miles, they recommend changing the transmission fluid in this vehicle. So I want to make sure you guys note that. We will have to go up with the filter, so we'll get one bolt started and swing this filter around as we pop that in place. I'll show you guys where that's going. Okay guys, you can see that's where it rests inside of there. So we're gonna set it back inside of there, the spring. Bring you guys up close. So there's pressure here now. So now we can go with all the bolts and force that pressure, but that's how it works. So let's put all the bolts back in. Okay guys, so you guys can see where that spring seats and their tab holding in place. So I torqued these down to around 40 inch-pounds, 40 inch-pounds, not foot, please, 40 inch-pounds for these. And this I went 72 inch-pounds or 6 foot-pounds with this one. This one was tighter than these. All right, let's do the pan. As you guys can see, I'm pretty much cleaned up on the surface around the pan. I'm gonna wipe it off with some, spray some brake cleaner on the rag and wipe it off. And then we're gonna put some RTV sealant on here. So let's go out and do the gasket right now. We can do the gasket right now. We'll lay the gasket on here now after I wipe the surface off with the brake clean. And then we'll get that prepped up. All right, guys, that's on there. Man, I want to note this stuff is extremely thick, so you can cut the tip, but you may want to take it off. Just have some rubber gloves on and spread it, because this stuff is unlike any other gasket maker you've probably ever used. If you ever used this, this stuff is insanely thick. If you don't be careful, it'll bust out on you using this top, trying to squeeze it out of here. So just remove the top and put it on, and make sure all your holes are lined up, because this stuff sets up fairly quick. Make sure all your holes are lined up perfectly. And then just push it down in place. So we're gonna about to go. So let's go clean the other side and put some on the other side, and we'll be good. We're not gonna put anything on this side of the gas. We're gonna put some on the transmission itself once we get it cleaned up. So I don't need some braking parts cleaning. A couple of cans up here. Use this. It's almost gone. So we'll use this on a rag, a shop rag, and then we'll get that cleaned up. So let's get back on here. Okay, guys, we got a thin coat on the entire surface. Got a nice little coat on the entire surface. This transmission will not leak again. Nice. We covered both sides of that pan where its seat's at. We got added protection from leaks. Make sure the holes are free of the gasket maker, and we're good. So let's put the pan up, and we're all good with this, guys. Okay, guys, it's a wrap. We're done with this. I've torqued these bolts down so many times throughout the years. I know them by heart. So, like I said, you can torque them down to 11 foot-pounds, 12 foot-pounds, or between 10 to 12 foot-pounds. With me, I just make multiple rounds because I know how it feels using this Allen wrench. And just snug this down with the crescent wrench, and I'm all done. So let this sit up. I won't be putting no fluid in it in no time. So maybe within the next few weeks when I
finally get it going. But allow this at least 24 hours to cure before you install fluid. Remember, this trans is completely empty of fluid, so, or your trans may be completely empty of fluid. There may be some torque converter, so they recommend you add 4 quarts to start it and shift through all the gears before you add more fluid, and then just continuously top it off like that until it reaches the top of that dot. So that's it for this video, guys. I'll have the link in the description boxes for all the things for this pan. I don't have to worry about removing this pan anymore to change the fluid. I can just change it from here. I like draining the oil out of the engine now. But we're done. Hope you guys found this video helpful. Have any questions, feel free to ask. Like I said, all the parts will be in the description box for the links. So that's it. Next video will be popping up tomorrow. I'm not sure what it is, but stay tuned for the next video, guys. Terrence on out.